Hey team, I have a microphone. I don't know how far I should hold this, so if it gets really loud or really quiet, don't blame me, blame the microphone. We're gonna go through my books from January and February. So those are like my reads. I read, let me grab my laptop. I'm so professional. I have a mic and a laptop, don't have a camera. I read all 16 books in the past 2 months. You may be like, that's a lot of fucking books. What the fuck do you do besides read? Hey, great question. I read 5 physical books. The rest of these were all on my Kindle, which is low-key crazy because I didn't think I'd be a Kindle girly. And I'm still not a Kindle girly. I'm a library and Barnes and Noble girly. Okay? Like, you will have to pry that fucking premium membership out of my cold fucking hands. Because I just, like, can't. I don't know. I'm really weird. Like, I love annotating books, and I especially really like literary fiction. And so I feel like it's so weird, especially reading like nonfiction on like a Kindle. Like, what do you mean? I'm just like tapping through it? Like, I feel like I need to like really be in the book. Um, but I mainly like read all of my romance books on my Kindle because they're fun and they help me wake up in the morning, if I'm being honest. Because every time I like get my book light out and get my book, it's very like nighttime. It's like it's time to shut my brain off. And then in the morning, I like need that screen brightness 100%. Yellow filter off, night shift off. I need that shit bright as hell so it wakes me up and I'm like, okay, what are these characters doing? Let's go, let's go, let's go. I own a lot of physical books if you don't see behind me. I also really want to do a book corner tour because I kind of a little corner. It's not as cute as the book talk girlies, but I like it. January was a Kindle book. It was Midnight Mass by Sierra Simone. I think that's how you say her name, Sierra Simone. I Is that her real name? Because that's so cunty. Sierra Simone, that's so cunty. If you don't know Midnight Mass, or what is it? What's the series? Priest series. It's basically like Sexy Priest. Am I humiliated I read this? Yeah, I am. Okay, I am. Was the smut good? Yeah. And did I start reading it because the smut was good? I listened to the first book on audiobook because I was like, I need to lock in. I need to lock in. And then I got to the point where I was just like, I don't care about these characters because I'm pretty sure I read. Wait, where's the first book? Priest. That's the first book. I read that book, I want to say in like October, November of last year, and I was in it. I finished that shit quick. I was in it. And then Sinner's the second one. I don't really remember that one. I think that's with the black girl. I'm pretty sure it's Black Girl, which I loved. So I'll say that's my favorite one. But they're just like horny religious trauma books. They get really repetitive though, even though it's about all there's like what, three brothers, I think. Did I read the books? I don't know. Three brothers, so it's like each one of their stories, but it's like, did all y'all get fucked over by religion? Like all y'all. One of them, like you're a monk, you're fucking a nun, and you're a priest. Girlfriend, like what? We gotta get this shit figured out. So I read that last, and I feel like I read it in between. I would like it more, but I simply stopped giving a fuck about these characters in November. I give it 2 out of 5 because I said, it's fine. It's not. I feel like one's a little rude. Like that's how my rating system works. One's like it's Amelia Perez bad. I'm not gonna sing. I won't do that to you. It's Amelia Perez bad. I don't say it's Amelia Perez bad. It's just fucking bad. Where's my water? Let's talk about Done and Dusted by Lila Sage. If that is her also real name, I love that. I don't think it is, but if that is so Southern Belle. I love it. Anyway, Done and Dusted. Okay, I read this book because I put it on hold literally like in August of last year. I don't know if the book was even out that long ago, but I put that shit on hold a long ass time ago and it finally became available and I was like, well shit. I've been waiting 6 months. I might as well read this. Okay. I don't, as I like talked about reading some like pre-series, but I like romance books, but I'm not a stan. Don't look up the book behind me. I'm not like the only books I read are romance, definitely not. I like to read a mix. But these books had me locked in. I will fully admit that I finished this book in one sitting. I was locked in. Start to finish, locked in. I had for the fourth book, I think, to come out. Oh, I was gagged. Oh, they're so good. Okay. They're cheesy. Like, it's very country y, Wyoming y. like don't touch my sister. Like it's a little, I don't know. There were some parts where I was like, I don't care, and then I was like, oh, it's cute and cheesy. I didn't get anything from it, but I had fun, and I think that's all that matters is that I had fun. Would I recommend you reading it? Yes. If you like romance or need to get out of reading slump, read Done and Dusted because that got me like I was in it. I was cruising the rest of the month. Okay, love that one. Give it a 4 out of 5. Mm, okay, it's over here. Role Play by Clara Drummond, I think that's her last name. I read this because it was on Kaya Gerber's, what's it called? Book club. I like it. I think I have to reread it. It's very much like a woman in her 20s. You know, like one of those books, which I do love those, but I'm not a woman in my 20s yet. So I feel like I have to be a woman in my 20s to fully understand it. I did give it 5 stars because, again, I was like, I fuck with this. Like, it's really short. It's like 100 pages. It's super short. I read it in 2 class periods, and this guy was talking to me about this book because it was like the second day of class, and he was like, what book is that? I saw you reading it last week. And I was like, yeah, like, it's just like, it's set in Brazil, and like, it's about like artists and exploration, and like, really hyping this book up. And he was like, cool. And I was like, okay. He doesn't talk to me anymore because I think because I call him stupid. So he doesn't talk to me, which is fine because I have a boyfriend and I don't want to talk to your ass either. He was wearing those ugly jeans. You know those jeans? Those jeans? Yeah, he's wearing those. So anyway, I would recommend reading that book, especially if you're like, I feel like I'd really like it when I was like 20. If when I was, whoa, I'm 18. When I will be, that's the right word. When I will be 21. I feel like that's something I'll bring to college with me. I'll bring to college with me and read it because I'm going to college. Magnolia Parks by Jessa Hastings. I know, isn't her real name Jessica? Because I watched an interview, which is so funny because I watched an interview with her and it fully gave spoilers of the last book and I fully forgot the spoilers, which is fine. It's book, I believe, in October of last year. And I really loved it to the point where I bought Daisy Hates. It's behind me. And I was like cruising with this book. I think I was like more than halfway done with it. It's like, I'm gonna finish this book all night. Like, I'm done. Like, this is so fucking good. And then I was like, oh, but I don't want it to end. And so I put it down and didn't pick it back up until about January. I said, I'm tired of looking at it on my nightstand. And then it got to the last like 150 pages, and I simply did not give a fuck about any of them. Like, BJ done pissed me off. So, first of all, your name's BJ. Anyway, he pissed me off so fucking bad, dude. I was enraged, okay? And I'm not like, let me get enraged at books, but oh my god, like, you're a fucking man whore. It just, I say read it if you like London, if you're a London girl, and you like fashion, and just like that, like that's what that book is to me. I'm not like about to psychoanalyze each one of these characters, but that's all I get from the book is outfit ideas, perfume ideas, you know what I'm saying, and London. That's all I'm getting, and I love it. They're rich, they're annoying, they're snobby. I love it. It's like Gossip Girl to me. This is my Gossip Girl. By the last 100 pages, it was so fucking repetitive. Like, physically, like, spoiler from Magnolia Parks. He cheats on her multiple times, technically. Like, does he? Yes, but like, he cheated on her technically once, I think. But it feels like multiple times. Because it's like a constant back and forth of like, please come back, Parks. No, I hate you, Parks. No, this and it. It's like, oh my god, oh my god. Like, stop fucking in the Gucci change room and just talk to each other. Like, y'all need therapy. It got to the point where the last 100 pages, I was so over this. I was just like, I want this book to fucking end. Which is crazy because 230 pages in, I was locked in. I was like, I don't want this book to end. I should have just finished it in that one day because I cannot stand them. But I will be reading Daisy Hates. All the books I read in January. February, we did a lot more because, again, half my month beforehand was filled with TikTok. And now it's filled with YouTube and reading. So I read a little bit more, and Starting the month off strong with Saint by Sierra Simone. This is, I wrote down, kind of over the series. Feels a little out there because, let me give a synopsis. Can't think of his name, but he's a monk. And we were wondering, what the fuck? He's a gay monk. Okay, diva, whatever. And then, like, he broke up with his boyfriend because they were gonna say I love you to each other, and he broke up because he was like a workaholic, and they never like told each other. Like, he never was like, hey, I'm gonna be a monk. It wasn't until his brother was like, yo, you know, like your ex-boyfriend's a monk. Huh? What? I turned you into a monk? That's crazy. And then they talk to each other a little bit more, and then they go on like a retreat, like a, I guess it's like a religious retreat, like a pilgrimage, I guess. And they're in fucking, I don't know, tasting beer. They're somewhere abroad tasting beer, and they start fucking again. And they're like, oh, but I still love you. Like, it's so, oh my god, I don't care. I was just like, okay, y'all keep doing that, but I'm gonna sit back and not pay attention to you because I don't care. I was so excited to be over. I don't remember what happened in the end. Probably got married or some shit. I don't remember. I just remember, I don't know. They were just so horny. They were so horny. And the thing is, I am such a whore for an interconnected series, like Done and Dusted, like Butcher and Blackbird, like it's about all I know. But I love that where other characters are interacting with other characters in a relationship. Like, I love that shit. I feel like I have to keep like a chart though. But this one, I was like, so you're fucking your best, or you're basically someone that's like your sister to you is brother because y'all were dating. Like, I was like, okay, this is so like half-assedly connected. It felt so half-assedly connected, where it wasn't connected enough for my liking. But also it was also too much. There's too much going on. Book next to it also kind of sucked. Mick Glue by Tessa Moshfegh. Here's the thing. Otessa girl, I love you. Hey, do you want to like talk over lunch? I fucking love you. I have all of your books next to me. I love you. I don't love this book. And she's short and sweet. I okay. How do I explain this? Mick Glue basically it's set in Salem in what 1851. He possibly have killed a man, but he doesn't know that he killed a guy, and so it's like he's kind of fucked in the head. And then there's a strange like I get it. Okay, I'm gonna talk for a long ass time. I love a book where it takes you in the world of it's set in. Like, I love the setting. I love like dive me deep into the world of the 1800s. But it felt a bit much. It felt a little bit much. The use of two words that I believe were on every page. I think every page, multiple times, to the point where like I cannot read this in public because you are saying a certain word that I should not say. I'm not gonna say it because it doesn't pertain to me, but it's a slur. And again, I get it. It's 1851. Like, of course. But then I was like, I don't know the origins of said word fully, but I believe this word was conjured up across the pond, I think. And it is going to be three letters, and that's all I'm going to say. And I think it was conjured across the pond. I could be wrong. But I was like, how did it? I don't know. I feel like it just felt very off to me. I don't know the history of said word to like give a whole dissertation on it, but I was like, this feels a bit much, like just a little bit much. And but I thought the writing besides that was pretty good, and she really knows how, like, I love Otessa. She knows how to get you in a story, and she knows how to conjure up a disgusting vision and a disgusting world. But it was a bit much for me personally, just for me. Next book, my favorite book I read all year. So Late in the Day by Claire Keegan. Now, girl, I'm a Claire Keegan stan. I've read two of her books. I'm a Claire Keegan stan. I think the best short story I've ever read. So Late in the Day is my favorite one. I think that, so it's basically about, I don't know how to explain it. It the book centers around women and men and the way they view each other and their interactions with each other, but it's a very fictional way, but also non-fiction way. Like, I could see this something that's actually like that can be observed and can actually happen in real life, but it's also written not in like a science way where it's like this is a relationship between men and women. It's just like everyday people, and that is what the book's about. It's three stories, and it's all, the first one, it's, I think this is from my own perception, I believe it's from the way a man views a woman, and then the second one, the way a woman views a man, and then the third one, the way a man views a woman, is how I picture it. The last one is fucking crazy. And it's so good. I can't, like, I don't want to say anything to like spoiler it, but read it. Read it. The next two kind of go with my opinion on the Priest series of, did I have a little fun the first book? Yes, but we could have stopped it there. We could have just halted on the Hymn series by, I'm gonna say her name wrong, I'm so sorry, Serena. That's how you spell Serena, right? But like Serena, not like Serena Williams. Serena Bowen Yang from SNL. I don't like this series, like, at all. And I've done my digging in hockey romances. I'm not gonna say I know anything about hockey because I don't. I remember that controversy on Book Talk, that was that girl that got invited by Seattle Kraken, and it was like she was like fucking saying derogatory shit towards one of the players, and I was like, that's fucking weird. I'm not gonna pick up a hockey romance book because that's fucking weird. Um, I picked up a couple since then, and I really don't like them. Like, they're fine. Like, if you want a cutesy little like sports romance book, read a hockey one because I don't. I think it's because I don't care about any other sport. And it's like, read a basketball romance. I don't see any appeal in basketball players. I don't see any appeal in baseball players or football, especially football. Or even there's like a golf romance book. Like, I don't care. Hockey, I do kind of care about a little, semi, not really. Three books. I read the first book, I think last year. I think I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure I read it last year, and for some reason, I really wanted to read this series. Like, I almost bought the physical books on Amazon because I was like, I was getting into romance books, and like especially like gay romance books. I was like, ooh, they make those, and these came out in 2015, by the way. I was not sentient at the time, so I couldn't really tell you what was going on, but I don't like them. Like, him, I don't even remember. Actually, I do remember him. Him was actually good. Him was like, they're they like rekindled at the summer camp they used to like be members of, players of, and then they're like fucked and they fell in love, but then they're like, I hate you. What do you mean you're going off to Vancouver without me? Like, it was like back and forth kind of thing, and it was cool. Like, I liked that book the best out of all the other books. I don't remember what Us was about. I will fully admit that I don't remember Us at all. And I get Epic and Us mixed up because I was thinking about it before I filmed this, and I was like, okay, what happened in Epic and what also happened in Us? Because it's the same book in my brain. Because Epic felt so disgustingly unnecessary. One guy, don't remember his name. It's two white guys, I don't remember his name. He got like, had like a heart attack. What? He had like pneumonia. What was it? He got something, and he was in the hospital, and then people found out they were dating because they were kissing. But I don't understand how someone brought a camera on like the floor of where like people who are like in quarantine are. I don't understand how that one worked. Lift and Saddled by Lila Sage. I hated this book more than I hated all the other ones, and I liked the other ones. I did not like this one. It felt so the city girl. Like that whole trope, like the city girl comes to the country and she's a country girl now, and he's a city, or no, she's a city girl and he's a country boy, and yeah, like one of those books. Do you know what I'm talking about? Where it's like weird and she's a city girl and knows nothing about the country. What do you mean you have tools in the back of your car and you wear Wrangler jeans for fun? Oh my god, like it was so annoying. And there's one part where they rescue an animal on the side of the road or something, and he goes back to his car to grab a tool because the animal was stuck. And she's screaming at him, "What are you doing? Why are you leaving him?" And then he's like, "I'm grabbing tools, you dumbass." And she's like, "Oh, are you stupid? Like, I grew up in the country, but like, I fear that you would understand that, even if you grew up in the city." I don't know. That felt so stupid. Like, I physically cringed so hard when I read that. I was like, is this a bitch dumb? Convenience Store Woman. Another book I highly recommend that I've read this month, or last month. This book basically is a woman and she works at a convenience store. That's it. That's all the book's about. Literally, that's all the book's about. She's worked her entire life from I believe the age 16 or 18, a teenager, until she's in her 30s, working at this convenience store. And it's I when I was reading it, I kind of forgot that she was working there that long. Like I was like reading and I was like, shit, she's been there for a long ass time. 15 whole years, longer than that. And I think she's like 34. And when like she comes to this realization where she's like, I'm done. Like I don't want to do this anymore. I need to get married. I need to like do all this shit. She's dating this really shitty dude. Oh, he's so fucking annoying. I fully forgot about him. I don't care about him. He's so annoying. And they're together. And then she goes back and visits this convenience store before she goes to a job interview. And she's like, y'all are terrible at your fucking job. She's like, y'all fucking suck. Like literally what goes on. And she's like, let me clean this shit up. Like, let me do this shit for you. And then she's like, wow, this is where I belong, you know? And I kind of like that sentiment at the end of the book of being like, she found her spot as people, even though as society, people like, you're still 30 and you're working at a convenience store and you've been working there for 15 years. Like, that's so embarrassing. And I get that part of it. Also, the way people called her like an old bitch the entire book, that was crazy. That was fucking crazy. Every other sentence was, "This old bitch is still working here. You're old now. You can't have kids. You can't get married. You're fucking old." Um. So yeah, that was weird. But this book was really good. I really like this. So highly recommend Spiral. I fucking hated this book. I read. I think it's called Collide. It's another hockey romance. Guys, I'm in my hockey romance era. I wanted to like this because the female lead is A ballerina, and B, she's black. So of course I wanted to like this. Of course I was like, lock me in. Like I'm sad. I'm ready. This is the Off the Ice series. I know there's a third book coming out, and it has 4.9-star reviews on Goodreads. Questionable with 11 ratings. I don't trust y'all. The first book was ass. It was so I don't give a fuck. Which I know I keep saying that, but I simply hated these characters. I hated him. I hated her. They were all annoying. Spiral I liked at the beginning because she's a ballerina, he's a hockey player, but he's also like he's seen as like a jock. But he's actually not. He's really nice. He like never dates anyone, but everyone's like he's a fucking man whore when he's actually not. And she's like a struggling ballerina, and they end up like fake dating so she can get press to be in this production. I think it's Swan Lake, um, because now everyone gives a fuck about followers, and she's like, "Bitch, I got 50 followers." Very stereotypical. And I don't want to be mean when I say this, but it was so she's the black girl and her parents are drug addicts and you need a white man to save you and all this shit. That's what the book was giving. Because it was like she's poor and she struggles and her parents are drug addicts. You know her parents were drug addicts? Your parents are in jail. Drug addicts. Like that was the fucking book. And it got to the point where about the fifth fucking mention, I lost it. I was like, I can't read this anymore, and I simply stopped caring. Again, I stopped caring. Because again, it was cute in the cute at the beginning, and then again, her house like burnt down because of a candle or some shit, and then he had to stay or she had to stay with him, and then I was like, my parents were drug addicts. You know, my parents are drug addicts, and I'm a black girl and I have drug addict parents and all this shit. And again, I know that happens, and I know there are people who have drug addict parents and have parents who are in jail, and I get that. But when I tell you that was her entire fucking persona, that entire fucking book, and it made me go crazy reading it because it was mentioned so fucking much, I was like, she's poor. You know, she's poor. And I get her perspective of it of he started paying for her brother's medication and she got mad. And I can understand that as like if I was in that case scenario and I was working really hard to pay for something, especially for a family member, I think I'd be a little upset at first and then I'd be like grateful. But like it was just a weird I don't know how to explain it without being rude. It just felt so someone who was not black wrote this. And Lassoed by Lila Sage. This one's my favorite. This one's with Teddy. I love Teddy. Teddy's a fashion girly. Teddy's a fashion girly and it girly. She's a little stupid, but I love her. Yeah, I thought this book was pretty good. I think I think it's my favorite. Done and Dusted and Lost and Lassoed, I think are my favorite. And also the way that it ends had me gagged. Talked about all three of the books now. Just fucking read them. Next, Daydream by Hannah Grace. This is in the Icebreaker universe. And I was very anti reading Icebreaker because I thought I was better than you bitches, and I still think I am. But I don't like Icebreaker, really. Like, when I read it, I was like, oh, I get why people like this book, but it's mediocre. They fuck too much, and also, I hate reading text messages in books. She's fine. I don't like her. She's kind of annoying. I just, like, I don't know. I'm, like, very to her. I don't know. I like Henry, though. Henry's my favorite. It's just cute. I don't know. It's just cute. Like, there's no, like, I would never reread them or, like, be like, you have to read this book. It's cute and it, like, turns your brain off. Even though I feel like all of those books, I've had to turn my Kindle on airplane mode. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Turn your Kindle on airplane mode. I feel like I have to because it just, they're so fucking long. Why are they 400 fucking pages? Do you want me dead? Why are they 400 pages? Anyway, last two. I've been saying it wrong this entire time I know it. Scythe and Sparrow. Scythe and Sparrow? I've been saying it wrong. By Brian, Brienne? Brian? Brianna. Bry. We're not Bry. We'll call her Bry. I do not know how to say her name. Bry Weaver. You want to talk about an interconnected series? This is how you do an interconnected series. I can't really talk about it without giving spoilers. They're like serial killers and they kill people. I love this book. Um, yeah, you have to read the whole series. Blackbird or Butcher and Blackbird. I think my least favorite now because Leather and Lark is so fucking good. The only issue I have with this book, the third one, is the fact that there's one scene, which I'm not going to say because it's a spoiler, one scene that is repeated from Leather and Lark into this, and I understand why, because it changes the perspectives and it changes like the stake of what's going on. But I read it and I was like, I've read this shit before. Word for word, she copied and pasted that shit in and then just like changed up the names a little bit. You know, there's a little bit more, like a little bit more of each character's perspective, but other than that, it's like the same fucking thing. And that kind of bothered me because I was like, this is like the same 5 pages. But other than that, I like the book. And I get why she did it, but it's not my favorite. Girl Who Reads on the Metro. And the reason I borrowed this book from the library is because I saw it and I said, oh, I like the title. Didn't read the back of it, simply didn't care to read the back of it, but this will be a cute book to like read in like a couple class periods. I do that. I was so fucking bored, and all the reviews on Goodreads are like 2 stars. And I should have read those Goodreads reviews before I decided to borrow the book. Thank God I didn't buy the book, but I think it's translated from French to English, and I think that was the issue because I could not tell you what the book is about. And I hate when people say that shit and like I don't remember what the book's about. I read too many books, I don't remember what it's about. But I really could not tell you what this book is about because it's so bad. It's so bad. I don't know what's going on. Like I could not tell you what's happening. She like reads on the metro and then starts like projecting what she's reading onto these real people's lives or something. Like I don't know what so I wouldn't recommend that one. I think the issue with the book was it was translated and I think it was rather poor translation or something. Like something was lost in translation. I like the cover. The cover is giving Emily in Paris. Like, I don't mind this, but like, she's kind of weird. I don't know. I don't know. So, yeah, those are all the books I read in January and February. So, I have to leave in 9 minutes to go to dinner. So, I'm gonna leave now. I need to clean up my room first. And then I'm gonna maybe film other YouTube videos. I don't know. I don't know. I really hope this is recording. I hope you can hear me. I hope I'm not too loud. And if I am too loud, I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to get this mic situation figured out because I don't know how close to hold this mic. So, yeah. Bye, y'all.